Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I've got an exciting project. It's easy to do. We're in the kitchen, and excuse the mess behind me, we're waiting on the storm Florence to come through. It's supposed to hit us about 8 o'clock tonight. So I just thought, hey, why don't we just cook something, right? That's what you do in an emergency time. So I'll get the camera turned around here, but first we're going to make cottage cheese. A lot of you may not like cottage cheese, but you might like mozzarella. And this is actually going to turn out somewhat in between. It's going to be more of a mozzarella than it will be a cottage cheese. But the reason it was called cottage cheese is because anyone could make it in their cottage or at home. So stay with me, I'll show you how. Alright, we're back with our ingredients. The main ingredients we're going to need. You can use powdered milk, whole milk, skim milk, half and half. You can use all cream if that's what you have. But we're going to use half and half today. And you're going to need some type of an acid. Today I'm going to put lime juice. You can use lemon juice, vinegar, white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, anything acidic, okay? So we're going to turn our heat on to medium. And another thing, when you're making this, because of the acid, you want to make sure that you're using not a Teflon coated pot, and I prefer to use stainless steel. And this is the Silverfire mini, or it's not the mini dragon pot, this is the larger dragon pot. And as you can see, it's got these little cutouts up here, and the pot itself is recessed up a little higher than this. It's intended to go over their cooking stove, but it works just as well on our oven, and you don't lose any heat. All the heat when I set this down is going to come up not only on the bottom of the pot, but also around the sides, and then come out the top of this. And you can see I've certainly used it over a fire, so let me wash my hands. So we're going to pour our half and half, and a lot of people like this in their coffee, but I'm just going to use the whole half gallon and see how much cheese we get out of that. Now we're going to leave that. We don't want to scald the milk. We don't even want it to boil, but we do want to get it just before it starts boiling. And so that means we're going to have little bubbles start coming up around the edges, maybe even around the center, since I'm using this type of pot. And when that happens, I'll show you what we do next. Now, waiting on our half and half to come up to heat, there's a couple of things that you want to go ahead at this time and prepare for. What I have is a strainer, which I'm going to put a layer of cheesecloth in here as well. And you want a bowl, a large bowl, large enough to capture all of that liquid that's going to come off of it. And I also am going to be using a smaller one just to scoop our solids up. So there's two things that when milk is heated up with an acid, you end up with two products. One is curds, the other is whey. We've all heard the nursery rhyme, eating her curds and whey. And I don't know how tasty that the whey is going to be, but it is nutritious for you. Very high in protein. So that's actually what I'm going to be using to marinate our steak in, to get it to tenderize. And of course I'll put some other seasonings in with the steak. That's for another video. And but today we're going to focus just on cheese. So once you have that, you're also going to need a tablespoon measuring device, so we can measure this out. It don't have to be perfect. If you're pretty good at guessing, just blah 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 blah, you know, you'll be fine. But we're going to try to go as carefully as we can, so we can eat up with, or finish up, excuse me, with a good product at the end. As you can see here, I'm now sitting at 175. I'm going to let that go up about 5 more degrees, and then I'm going to turn the heat off of it and put our acid, which is lime juice, and hopefully we'll be able to watch the transformation. I know this is a little weird of a camera angle, but it's about the best I can get. We brought it up to 180 degrees, Now we're going to add our lime juice. I'm going to start with about 1.5, because you can add more. Got to shake this up. This will give it just a slight lime flavor, but not much. And as you can have seen maybe on one of my other videos of how easy it is to make, how to make some pasta with a couple of ingredients. Let me get this stirred around in here before I forget what I'm doing. Then this cheese would go good on our homemade pasta, go on baked potatoes, and many Italian dishes. If you want to make a pizza, let that sit and stir it all in good. Okay, I apologize, I've already done some separating, but I had to get something done. But I had to wait on unforeseen circumstances. So once we've added our citrus acid or vinegar or whatever, we're going to separate into curds and whey. And so we're just going to plop this out on a bowl right now. And then I've got more here. I'm going to put into here. I should have used the cheesecloth. Now you can see those milk solids coming through. I'll get a spoon and rake that out. I just got that on the table. I'm going to put this down here. I have a little bit left over, but not too much. Alright, hope you can see that dripping. And just lightly squeeze it. Don't want to squeeze it too hard. And what we could do is we could actually just tie this little bag that we made up here and hang it over the sink or something and just let it sit overnight. Okay, it's been about 20 hours and we're going to cut our cheese balls down. I've just been letting them hang up here, kind of dry out. So, and I just hung them up with a little self-tightening knot. Should be pretty easy to get out of here if I ever grab a hold of it. There we go. Let's see what she looks like. I'll be discarding that. Shoot, got my scissors right here. That. Now, this turned out about 16 ounces of cheese, or about roughly half of whatever milk product that you use will end up cheese and the other half will end up whey product. So, just mash this down in here, and I can tell you now it's not your typical mozzarella because we didn't use any certain type of enzymes to do it. We just put an acid in there, and in our case we used lime juice. Now I can tell you this. Let me get a spoon. Basically, what I think it tastes like At first it kind of has almost a sour taste, like sour cream, but the lime juice makes it finish off with more of a cream cheese. So it's going to be interesting. I plan to put the 16 ounces here and use it in a lasagna, maybe with homemade lasagna noodles. And so I invite you to try this. I think you'll be well pleased. And you can experiment with the different types of milk that you use, possibly buttermilk, soured milk. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to mention. The recipe that I used called for bringing the milk up to 180 degrees, which I did. The only problem with that, it takes forever for that 180 degrees to cool off after we put our acid in there. And so I would only recommend bringing it up to maybe 100, 110 degrees. People have been making cheese for thousands of years, and so why can't we do it today, right? So once again, I appreciate you joining me, and I'll be back with another video soon. Thanks.